Hello everybody. Welcome to the session on understanding cost of production in printing. I am Uday Dhote. So let's begin. In this session, let us try to understand the following: costing vis-a-vis estimating, types of costs in printing business, estimation techniques, understanding cost centers, allocation of costs, and fixation of departmental or activity related costs, either hourly or otherwise. Proceeding further, as you know, there is no fixed menu for a press. It's impossible. Every printed job is customized. Brochure, calendar, diary, carton, magazine, poster, whatever. Choice of process is different. Screen, offset, digital, flexography, gravure. Substrate is also different. Map litho, gloss coated, matte coated, you name what. And the purchase prices are different. Post-press operations are different. Skills involved are different. In fact, every aspect is different. Let's go further. Now let's understand the difference between costing and estimating. Costing, kharcha as it is called, is the purchase price we pay for a product or service. We have to incur cost in order to understand costing. Hence, costing is the study of the past. Estimate, that is andaz, is an approximate judgment of the cost of a product or service. While making an estimate, we try to predict costs. Hence, estimating is the study of future. Now, what does this mean? When the client asks us for a quote for a prospective job, he's asking us for an estimate. And how do we do it? Based on the past experience, we predict the costs which are involved in that prospective job and hence arrive at an estimate. So when we quote to the client, we are giving an estimate. Please understand this difference. Normally these two terms are used concurrently. We need to understand difference at this stage. Let's go further. What are the type of costs involved? There are three types of costs. One is the direct materials, one is the direct expenses, and the third one is indirect expenses. Direct materials. The materials and consumables required in the process of production. Whatever is required in the process of production, like paper, plates, inks, press room chemicals, lamination or shrink packing film, adhesives, blankets, packaging materials, toner cartridges, etc. Whatever materials are required for production are come under direct materials. Next, direct expenses. Expenses directly related to the production processes. For example, if it is a pre-press operation, the outsourced artwork design, copywriting, scanning, processing, proofing or printouts, whatever, all these expenses are direct expenses. Expenses related to the press, outsourced printing activities like offset, screen printing if it is outsourced, and outsource post-press operations like binding, folding, die cutting, envelope making, guming, lamination, embossing, whatever it may be. Well, the important ones in post-press are the wages of workers, the power bill for the production facilities, the repairs and maintenance of the machines, and the likes. All these come under direct expenses since they are directly related to the production processes. Now we have expenses which are not related to the production processes. For example, office and admin, rent, conveyance, telephone, office electricity, printing and stationery, maintenance of office equipments, office maintenance, professional legal charges, all these come under office and admin. Capital and finance related interest, bank charges, insurance, depreciation, so on and so forth. Sales and distribution like traveling, courier, rebates and discounts, sales, promotion, transport, publicity, etc. And personal nature of expenses like salaries to the staff, remuneration of partners or directors, and staff welfare, etc. All these expenses being not related to the production are called as indirect expenses. Let's move further. And now how do we recover the costs? Now there is a caution in recovery of costs. Costs of direct materials and outsourced activities is easy to recover since they are identifiable. But direct expenses like wages, repairs to machinery, the power bill, And all those indirect expenses which we saw in the last slide cannot be identifiable with a particular job, and so they are not easily recoverable. Hence, many of us may be failing to recover all the costs spent on a particular job. At such times, it is imperative to devise a system for the allocation, apportionment, and absorption of the costs which cannot be related to particular products. Next, estimation. We go to estimation. What I would suggest is you use a fixed format for making your estimates. This would keep the standards, and they would not vary much. It's something like you can use Excel for that. I've just given you an example of how you can make a format or template in Excel. You could go form wise, So form wise, you would have system charges, plates, paper, printing, all that one form number 2, and so on and so forth. And other activities like binding, lamination, pinning, envelope making, etc. at the bottom. And on the subtotal, you may add your margins and or the commission involved and arrive at the total figure. You can divide that by the quantity. If all this is done in Excel, primarily it would do all the calculations, and calculations would not go in for a toss. And B, you will have a record of this for future. And C is that always there will be a standard format for the same. Moving ahead. Let us take an example of a press which has only printing machines and other activities are outsourced. Here, the costs of designing plates, paper, lamination, binding, etc. are recovered properly since we know the costs. So whenever we give a job to an outside partner, we know what he is going to charge us. Or the plates, we know the per square meter rate of the plates. Or designing, lamination, whenever this is given to an outside agency, we know their costs. Yeah. But for printing process, now traditionally, conventionally, we are recovering the rate per thousand impressions. Everybody must be very familiar with this, where impressions is equal to forms into quantity into sides into colors. Now, does anybody know the derivation of this formula? How this rate has come, how this rate of per thousand impressions has come into being. But we've been following for donkey's number of years, and many of the presses have grown with this formula. So there must be some logic, some genesis to this formula, which we will try to see a little ahead. Now, this means that the printing rate which we are going to recover is supposed to cover all the costs of, say, wages, repairs, insurance, depreciation, power, etc., etc., etc. Whatever that long list of expenses we have seen, it is supposed to cover all of that. Therefore, I say it is necessary to have a scientific approach to charge the printing rate, which would absorb all these costs properly. Let's go ahead. When scientific approach is not possible for some reason, a person, the proprietor, the owner of the company is not able to get a professional hand to do this, then I would suggest that charging a fixed rate for make ready and a variable rate per thousand impressions may be a better method. In this, what you could do is, in a typical 4-color job, you could charge for a plate change of 4. Say for example, you're charging 250 rupees per plate. So you could charge 250 into 4, 1000 rupees fixed cost, and then per 1000 impressions, as you would like to charge, say 100 rupees per 1000 impression, so on and so forth. So what would happen is, as the quantity increases from 1000 to 2000, that rate would come down a little bit. When it increases from 2000 to 3000, it would decrease a little bit. This is because the fixed costs would be spread over more number of impressions, and that is the logic behind it. The genesis over here is that the fixed make ready rate would absorb the costs of fixed nature like rent, depreciation, insurance, interest, etc. And the variable rate would absorb the costs of variable nature like wages, power, inks and chemicals, etc. Going ahead. Now, scientific approach needs a professional. Finding cost centers and allocation, absorption, apportionment of costs requires professional skills. and data of the past few months or past few years or a period will have to be studied with respect to average output per machine, unit, process, and average working hours. Now, what is common in all the production processes? There's only one thing which is common, and that is time. Therefore, effort must be made to fix hourly rates per department, machine, or process. Now, we should judge by our experience. We will definitely be able to judge the time to be taken on each process, unit, or machine for a particular job and apply the predetermined hourly rates to it. So, after that, you could, once the hourly rate is fixed, then you could add the cost of direct materials and outsourced activities to it. Once you get the total of this, you could add your gross profit percentage and your estimate is ready. Just to show you in the form of an example, this is a typical profit and loss account on the left hand side. On the right hand side, I have given the percentages of the figures of the profit and loss account. So if your sales is 100, your materials, direct materials and direct expenses are 73.40, you have a gross profit of 26.60. Now at the bottom, after the gross profit, you have the indirect expenses. Yeah. Now indirect expenses are more or less fixed in nature and they remain the same throughout the period. So you could predict these indirect costs and plan what kind of gross profit you need in order to attain a certain level of net profit. So here this company has decided to attain say a net profit of 7 to 8%, for which it requires a gross profit of 26.6 on a sale of 100. Now 26.6 on a sale of 100, yeah, this is on the sales price. But when we are doing the estimate, we are knowing the costs and we are trying to predict the sales price. So what we will have to do over here is 26.60 he is getting on the cost of 73.40, which is 36.25% of the direct cost. So when you have worked out such an estimate, as we saw previously, we worked out the estimate, and on that subtotal we will have to add a gross profit margin of 36.25% in this particular case, so that it will be getting on an average a net profit of 7 to 8%. Now this would vary from organization to organization. As you know that the fixed costs, which are also called as the overheads or indirect costs, these will be definitely different from organization to organization, and depending upon the company policy, it will strictly depend on the directors or promoters to work out for a figure of the net profit, on the basis of which they will have to work backwards and see what gross profit is required. So this way you get your estimate. We move ahead. We move to cost centers now. A typical profit and loss account gives you the regular account heads and the bottom line, that is the profit, but it does not show you who has contributed for it and who are responsible to bring it down. This can be done by a system of cost centers and revenue centers, and this is available in Tally ERP and works in the shadow of a regular financial statements. So when you are debiting a certain expense or providing for it in Tally, it will prompt you to put the cost centers. And similarly, when you are entering the sales voucher, Tally will prompt you to put the revenue centers. Now considering a press having the following departments: creative, plates, offset, digital, finishing and dispatch. These are also the revenue earning departments. And there are certain departments which are working in the back end. Those are accounts, admin, management, which do not earn revenue. Now the abbreviations are written in the capital letters just to give it just for you to understand. When we go ahead, they have been depicted in the form of this abbreviated letters. So just keep in mind. Now creative, CTP, offset, digital, finishing and dispatch, accounts, admin and management will be the main groups for review purpose, but you can open as many as cost centers you want under these groups. It works in a structured layer as a Tally. In Tally also the group of accounts and subgroups you can create level after level. Similarly, in cost centers also you can create level after level. Let's go ahead. Now, while doing in Tally, you will have to first associate the cost centers with each account head and then relate it to the particular group department that it belongs to. And why? Why first the account head? Because account heads are more easy for recalling. We have always been used to traditional accounting, and the account heads which appear in the profit and loss account on the expense side, we are very familiar with those account heads. So if you start your the nomenclature of your cost center with the account head first, it would make sense. Let's see that in the table below. So where our accounting head is materials, and the likely cost centers would be material inks, material chemicals, material paper offset, material paper digital, material plates, and these cost centers are related to the departments which are given on the right hand side, which is offset, digital and CTP. Now some of these may also be revenue centers. For example, material paper offset. Now when we are making an estimate, we are also going to charge for the paper used. So paper has a cost and paper has a revenue as well. Similarly, in the paper which is used for digital, and similarly the plates which have been purchased. So plates also have a cost to attach to it, and when we are recovering the cost in our estimate, we are also charging for the plates. Similarly, the next account head, power. Now power also can be for offset, digital, CTP, finishing and dispatch, etc., and so on and so forth, for repairs and maintenance, and wages. In wages, you can also have, under wages offset, you could also have machine wise wages. So for example, I'm having two machines, RIAB and SORDZ. I could have RIAB and SORDZ as one more level under wages offset, and under that I can again have a cost center as per the names of the people working on those machines. Yeah, so this is what happens when I tell you layer by layer you can keep creating more and more fields. So going ahead, so this is the way cost centers are done. Let's move ahead. Now, apportionment of costs. There may be times when an expense may not be identifiable to a particular activity or department. For example, in case of electricity or rent. In such cases, you may have to absorb them on the basis of some criteria like area. So in case of rent, it would be area. In case of expenses like staff welfare, tea, coffee expenses, etc., it will be on the number of people. For expenses like internet or telecom charges, it may be on the basis of usage, etc. One can make a standard ratio for these and put them in an Excel template like below. For example, electricity or power. Now these weights have been given. You see 1, 5, 2, 1, 10, 10, 45, 13. These are the weights given for that. And as soon as you receive the bill, or when you're debiting the expense of electricity in your accounts, say for example 3 lakhs, you put that 3 lakhs on the right hand side and it will get apportioned. The amounts appearing in the yellow are the apportioned amounts. Now according to these apportioned amounts, you will put these entries in the cost centers when you're making the voucher entry. Yeah, so one would be your accounting entry of 3 lakh rupees under par, and one would be your cost center entry of the apportioned amounts, yeah, as cost centers. This is the way you have to apportion. Let's move ahead. Now fixation of costs department wise or activity wise. This is the last thing which we are doing. How to fix the cost department wise or activity wise. The most important department at the heart of that our organization, our press, is mainly offset. Now that is why I've taken the example of offset department. Now say I said we have two machines, I talked about an example where we are having two machines. So say for example RIAB and SORDZ, and to support that we also have a cutting machine. Yeah, so all the expenses related to these machines are put on this, and from these cost centers, either from these cost centers you derive at the apportionment between these two machines, or else you, if not, then if for example if blankets you don't have an apportionment, then you could go by the number of sheets going through the machine. Normally this data, production data, I would advise every press to keep simple data. You keep a simple logbook, a simple logbook in a notebook where it would have the job name, and where it would have the job name and the number of impressions and the number of sheets running through the machine. And this can be tabulated and a summary can be made month-wise and kept. This would be very helpful, and this data would help when we are bifurcating such expenses. And likewise, all other expenses relating to that department, if you have a cost-centric system, you would get this from Tally itself. Otherwise, some effort will have to be made by you to put it in this form. After that, after we get a total of these expenses, now the expenses related to cutting machine can also be bifurcated into these two machines depending on the number of sheets or number of impressions going on that machine. So finally, we have these two figures at the bottom, the total figures. Now, you may be having the records also of number of hours worked during that month. As per that, if supposing this is a 6-month data, and during these 6 months, total hours worked we get. So now just divide the cost by the total number of hours worked, and you will get the cost of that particular machine per hour. For a rare example, we are getting it as 800 in case of RIB per hour and 475 in case of SORT set. Yeah. And if you divide these costs by the number of impressions for these 6 months, you would get the rate per 1000 impressions. So this is what, here we've tried to derive the genesis of how this per 1000 impression cost has been arrived at. So likewise, you could work with all other departments. You should have something like the cost center. If you have this system of cost centers, you can get these figures from Tally itself. And once this is done, it will be very easy. It's not that you have to apportion on the basis of hourly basis, but you can have some other measure also. For example, in a plate making department, these costs could be apportioned on the basis of square meter, because there the input which is going is a plate which is square meter, which has dimensions, and the output is also a plate. So whatever costs are involved in that department could be apportioned on the basis of square meter. This you will have to do for all the departments. That's all I have to say this time. Thank you. You can note my email ID if you have any queries further. This has been done in very short because we have a lot of speakers over here, and you'll be having some interesting thoughts coming from them also to add to this. Yeah. If you want to know anything further, we also run one educational vertical called Dot Institute of Graphic Communication. There we go into the depth of all these subtopics which I have talked about earlier. Thank you so much, and I'm open to any question and answers at the end of the session.